guys, if you hear something you like, maybe a little smash, maybe a little golf clap, maybe you can just smile at us. That's good too. What else? Stand up next weekend. And there's no drinking in the black box. Yeah. Okay, let's go enjoy the show.
Yeah.
This court is now in session. We will be hearing the case of New York State versus the witch. Prosecution, you may begin your opening statements.
The greatest minds converse for centuries, hoping dialogue might reveal what truth is. Since ponderance proved to be uninspiring alone, so legislators, history class flunkies and legacies of ill renown, decided all matters be settled with a game that's both juvenile and judicious, a contest of perjuries, though little rehearsed, performed perfectly, and unperceived courtings and purposed winks, or perhaps a glare so perverse that mere murder be a courtesy. And shared from person to person in front of a judge whose only concern is that the best story is told worthy of the predetermined title, justice. Allow me to spare you the trouble of paper cuts and ripping pages stuck together by mistake as I recall the tale for you as it was written. Youth is a period measured from wondered bliss to disillusionment, myth-making, frivolities, and a lot of following and chasing, often after the same things and people. It's when insincerity tastes sweet as melted caramel, and no matter how others dress you, you're as naked and ignorant as you were the day you were born, and no one can tell you otherwise. The only thing that doesn't change is we continue to celebrate lies as holidays. As children, too jumped off the calendar at us. You can be whatever you want, and believe, and you can have your heart's desires. Though, at the time, the word was more than likely behave, but again, the target audience remains something to consider. Around the same time, they're taught to hate, to fear, and beware of monsters, only to learn with age that most heinous creatures may spawn from honest care and humble beginnings. It's in the same vein as later lessons in sympathy to acknowledge one's own capacity for evil, without the accompanying visuals of visceral carnage and carnal rhapsodies that make it more digestible. To see yourself in the eyes of a killer, to dine with a cannibal. Crying at the dinner table may seem improper, but how can you not when you've seen the conditions cattle are kept under? If only the reason victimhood didn't call for too much convincing. Now, when two who have suffered gather, it may seem worse to pick which to give your succor to and which to spurn. It's sick to choose, but should one be a threat to others, we must do what hurts him quick. Catch the plague where it started, stop the spreading, and burn the witch.
Harvey Specter, senior partner, and I'm the ball partner. They didn't let me be on the legal team because I'm the best goddamn closer this town has ever seen.
Hi guys! My name is Priyanka Pirabaki, and I guess I keep on my public because you saw me behind it. That's just my mistake. But you guys can call me Pri. As glamorous as I may seem, my sugar daddy dumped me last week. I imagine law, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I saw a scrumptious man in a suit. So I walked up in, off the street. He could take me to court and court me. Oh shit, my lunch money.
First time.
Excuse me?
Being part of a jury.
What's a jury?
A bunch of idiots who think they know the law. You put me in front of an unbiased judge, I walk away clean. You put me in a courtroom with a grand jury, anything can happen.
So if anything can happen, how about you and me?
And
Oh, I thought that was just your name.
That's who.
I thought this was it. I thought he was the man of my dreams. I thought he would fund me. After Daddy got arrested for embezzlement last year, courts only ever reminded me of tears. And when I saw you walking inside, we could have rewritten my life. It could have been a love story. Instead I'm broke and he's gay.
We were freaks. But lesbian Jessica Pearson says I have to do my pro bono hours. And I got a summons in the mail. When you're in between a rock and a hard place, there's no room to fail. Wait, what am I talking about? When your back's against the wall, you gotta break the goddamn thing down.
You can break my neck, or put me against the wall. They made me engaged. Why are you acting so nonchalant?
That's your jury number.
Oh, but you're fine. They totally undersold you because you're definitely a 9.
Okay.
So, who's on
A
trial?
woman accused of the attempted kidnapping of a child.
I was kidnapped once by my father's rival in the mafia. He was tall, dark, handsome, but then he was extradited to Slovakia.
You're insane. I would never let a client be extradited. What are your choices if someone pulls a gun to your head?
What are you talking about? You get on your knees and give him that toi.
You take the gun or you pull out a bigger one, or you call her bluff, or you do any one of the 146 other things.
I really need the money, and jury duty pays $5,000.
This isn't federal court. We aren't getting paid.
Then what do you call the money I found tucked into my windshield by the paper that said guilty this morning?
A bribe.
If I'm in Slovakia, I'm worth $25,000 by tomorrow, they're gonna extradite me too. So unless you're forking over the money or offering me a job, she probably took that child and ate it too, I don't know.
But the ball's in your court.
The truth is the Slovakian IRS is holding my balls in their fist.
I came to jury duty expecting to be bored, expecting to hate the incompetence of the counsel that didn't go to Harvard Law, expecting to sit here and pick apart all of their flaws. I expected to sit in this disgusting jury box and say nothing, but this is something I didn't see coming. I'm gay Harvey Specter. I don't help people, but I find myself wanting to protect her. Who better to give her money than me, who has all the money in the world? Unfortunately, we only hire from Harvard.
What if I told you that I consume knowledge like no one you've ever met before, and I've already passed the bar?
I'm nobody. Who are you? Many a poem of mine begins with this borrowed line. One of them, written for this very box, a long time ago, before any of you were here. It's fitting, isn't it? I cannot find words better than those written by another. I cannot create, not in a meaningful sense, not in the way that makes a whole lot of people feel a lot of things. Instead, I sit here, typing and typing and typing, churning out transcripts for this copy-ass machine, putting to page the words that others say, striking words that, according to history, they do not. Documenting the mundane and the macabre, the dreary and demonic. Putting to page words that will never be read, proceedings to be forgotten in a week. Though this one might turn up on some true crime podcast, if she's guilty, if the verdict's guilty. I've been here long enough to know there's no such thing as truth. This transcript, a story. A plotless, pointless story. And I, not even the author. I'm ineffectual. I'm insignificant. At least those fools in the jury box have a say in how it ends. At least the lawyers get their words taken down. But the writer? I'm nobody. And who the hell are you? I'm typing, and typing, and typing. You know, the custody hearings alone crush a person's soul. Do we believe in souls anymore? Not like I have a soul. I'm a court reporter. Just a fucking cog in this copy machine. You know, when I turned 18, I wanted to set the world on fire. I didn't know how, but I wanted to. Probably by putting words to the page. But not like this. I have wanted to be a writer almost as long as I have known how to read. I once told you all I wanted to be a lawyer. That was true too. I have wanted to be nearly everything. I have wanted nearly everything. I have wanted to change the world. But here I am, typing and typing and typing. Watching as crazy people are convicted for crazy things. As poor people are convicted for, well, existing. As public split and victims lose and the mad women are the only ones burnt at the stake. Watching as the world around me crumbles. And I'm nobody. Unable to manifest change. I'm tired. Aren't any of you tired? I've been tired for a long, long time. I'm afraid that will never change. I'm afraid I will fuse to my typewriter and churn out transcripts to feed the machine, explicit, efficient in all the wrong ways. Typing and typing and typing.
SCA code 03257 says, but he looked away and he didn't see me, and I had no malicious intent. So it's possible that, who am I kidding? Look at me, I'm disheveled and I'm cold, and I laid awake late last night, thinking of my law school days, young and spry days down the drain, and all frazzled up and barely any sleep. Here I am at work, and she, the defendant, is there, and this is my courtroom. I have to make the calls now. I'm a judge. I'm a justice. But look at me. If she started rambling about her bus ticket like this, I would have locked her up ages ago. And yet, I need a break from this place. The other day, I saw an old friend across the street. She looked happy, way back. She went to art school or something, and she smiled at me, glowing with a smile that I'd seen London and Spain and all these pretty places. And I, with paper-cut hands, who never quite left this Constitution behind me, I tried to run across that unmarked street just to say hello, but a statue came to mind and halted my feet. These rules are waiting before everyone's faces, and I'm to enforce it all. My gavel tolls like thunder. If I stare and squint at all of this long enough, like during all those law school years, maybe it's supposed to break me, but it didn't, and I didn't pay for my bus ticket this morning. And I can pretend that I cheated the system enough to call me brave, because this job is all I've ever had. And that's it. The law doesn't care. Not about you, not about your friend across the street, not about whether you've ever wanted to see London or even just get to work on time. And, you know, they say justice is blind, but I can't ever really close my eyes to that fact. And maybe we're raised to think that we shouldn't care either. And what am I meant to do when I see someone who cares? Who might even damage the paper cuts on my hands someday? Do I slam them down for caring too much, or for not caring enough? The law is a cage, the bars are iron, no matter how the works take shape. Justice is blind, but I can't shut my eyes to that. The paper cuts on my hands from hours and hours of pretending to understand don't make me better than anyone in this room. But yet, she's down there and I'm up here. You, jury, old friends, everyone here, there's a case to be closed in this room tonight. Bear witness, but close your eyes. Justice is blind. You know, I can't see a wig since I graduated law school, but that doesn't mean you should become any less restless. And in the brush somewhere, it is your responsibility to find the facts, those stubborn things that we can't change. Find order, find reason, anything at all. Hold it close like a dead man's grip in your hands. And don't let anything, even the book itself, take it away from you.
As a child, I was quiet. Look closely and you'd see me, fly on the wall, dead silent, always listening to your stories, never talking, just receiving, just absorbing all the fucked up information they were certain they'd kept hidden. Surrounded by guilty parties, I stand still and bear witness. Top 10 secrets I discovered through the art of observation. Oh wait, no, never mind. Now it's top 11. Number 1. May 16th, 2nd grade, age 7. My older sister Stacy fudged the hours on her 4th grade reading log. She had her mom sign it, then took out her big pink eraser on the bus ride to school, and rewrote all the numbers for each day, each one slightly greater. Please, girl could even sit through a full chapter of Nancy Drew. Number 2, February 14th, 5th grade, age 10. My mom had an affair. The man wasn't even rich. I don't know what she was thinking. She told my dad she was eating for work, but I saw her at a diner kissing a man with wrinkled khakis and crooked glasses. Number 3, September 30th, 6th grade, age 11. Stacy skipped class to make it with Ryan Murphy in the abandoned lot behind Duncan. He was a high school freshman with bleach blonde hair who revealed his spikes. He wasn't even that cute. All the girls in school liked him because he could play the guitar with the slightest fit like Zac Efron when he smiled. I thought he was pretentious because he quotes Sylvia Plath poems on Snapchat, but it was clear he didn't understand their meanings. Number 4, April 8th, 7th grade, age 12. My best friend Kaylee shoplifted 5 pairs of those earrings shaped like fruits from the players of the mall downtown. shortage, so I don't know why she didn't just buy them. She also didn't have her ears pierced. I figured she was like the thrill of stealing. I knew she wouldn't care if I told her I saw, but I decided not to mention it, just in case. Number 5, October 24th, 8th grade, age 13. Right next to my neighbor's TP, Mrs. Crawford's house. The next week, I stood on the doorstep for 15 minutes, hand hovering over the doorbell, but eventually I left without ringing. My silence was less out of solidarity and more due to my being an accomplice because I did throw a few girls. And I knew that if I told her what I'd seen, it would be as good as a confession because she'd see my torn expression and immediately sense I was complicit. So instead, I trudged home, poured myself a bowl of frosted flakes, and guiltily flipped through scenes from TV shows I didn't know on Cartoon Network. Number 6, September 11th, 10th grade, age 15. The boy who sat next to me, the boy who sat in front of me, an 8-year-old, cheated on her first student test. His name was Peter Reynolds, and I really hated him. Not for any particular substantial reason, mostly just because he leaned back in his chair onto my desk. I stayed after class for a few minutes, ready to snitch, purely out of spite. But in the end, I chickened out and asked the teacher a question about last night's homework that I already knew the answer to. Number 7, April 4th, still 10th grade, now 16. Stacy dissed the yearbook committee to make it up with Ryan again. This time at the park just off Route 95 on the bench furthest from the street. She came home 2 hours late, hair still mussed, claiming she had to stay longer to photograph the football game. There's no way our mother believed that bullshit, but I think she suspected we were catching on to the affair, so we definitely got away with a lot more than we should. Number 8, November 21st, 11th grade, still 16. Me and my mom saw you that one from the 14th of February, remember? I sure did. Well, he made a reappearance, same dining, same spot. This time I caught him kissing, and I swear to you, he was still wearing those same goddamn khakis. Number 9, June 5th, 12th grade, age 17. Stacy kissed Peter, you know the cheetah from my AP Euro class? Well, she and Ryan were on a break. She told me Peter, sorry, was dreamy and loved that he rode his skateboard to school every day, even though he had his license. Paid me $20 to keep my mouth shut and swore me to secrecy. I agreed, but I still used it as blackmail until high school graduation, when she and Ryan broke up for the last time. Number 10, in May that same year, my mother had another affair. The guy was different this time, and I learned that she definitely has a type, and it is not my dad. This one was blonde, hair parted to the side in a way that was clearly supposed to hide the fact that he was balding, but really just made it a lot more obvious. He had watery blue eyes and a jagged smile. I got them 3, maybe 4 times, I lost count. A night for my dad to stay late at the office. I guess she didn't realize I was home, or maybe she just didn't fucking care. Number 11, the final crime, last month, vegetable garden. I saw a strange, witchy lady lurking. I easily could have dialed 911, reported it right away, but I wouldn't. Stalled by convincing myself it was just a trick of the mind. And she hadn't really taken those kids. She was just their nanny, or aunt, or cousin twice removed. Any option would do. Maybe she was their mother. Come home early to cook them dinner, and they were just stalled because, well, they wanted to order pizza, but now they have to help prepare mushroom stew that I don't even like very much. Ain't that either way? Was it really any of my business? Whatever it took to reassure myself I was doing the right thing by ignoring my gut instinct, so I could keep going about my routines like nothing ever happened. Because I'm the type of person who always chooses the simpler option without ever considering the cost. But, can I be honest? I'm sick of staying silent. As a child, I was quiet. I don't want to be quiet anymore.
Thank you very much for your testimony. You may stand down. We will take a brief recess.
"18 years. From the day I was born to 18 years, I've known that witch lady. Weird, odd lady. Not like me or you. Not cut from the same cloth. I've known her for 18 years, and every week we would meet. She made cookies, something sweet and soft, something we could not relate to. But the cookies were different, and I liked them. So I would go over and listen to her ramble about these disturbing fantasies that feeds into a nature unlike you and me. I know she did something Fuck, I know she did something. Can nobody see her outfit? With all my heart, I know she did something. But I'm not gonna snitch. After, she'll probably think we're friends, as though my smiles were not mixed with jitter and judgment, but that is not the truth. We are not friends. It's just, I'm not a snitch. That ain't me, never that. Except that one time, I snitched on you. But that doesn't matter, because that is not me. It was out of my hands, and I visit you every day reminding me that I've changed. And they should know this. So I don't know why they would pick me out and put me on the stand and try to make my hand touch a Bible. God will understand. We're close. Been close ever since church school. Remember church school? You were always copying off me for the answers, because Mom always made me study the night before. Now that don't make me soft. Don't start thinking I'm falling under pressure. I'm good with the heat. I don't snitch, none of that. Except that one time I came to visit. Which isn't fair. The one time I come to visit, you never used to invite me to your house. We hung out every day after school, and we never went to your place. How was I supposed to know? Granted, Mom didn't like me at Southside. She would say, "You Trey boy, not Bill boy." I always found that funny because I look nothing like Trey, but we definitely act the same. And just like Trey, I was fed up being out of the loop. How could I call you my brother and I never met your mother? 16 years and I knew more about that crazy witch neighbor than I knew about you. So I'll put my foot down to let you know. As we approached the end of 8th grade, the end of 10th grade, I told you, we weren't blood unless I knew where you laid your head at night. You almost laid me out for doing something so stupid, but it moved you. And whatever shame you held at home was ripped away by our friendship. And you had no choice but to invite me over. And one day after school, I snuck onto your bus all the way to Southside. Was able to convince my mom to. Told her I was staying after school for tutoring. I wasn't lying either. You taught me a lot about Southside. That walk over, you taught me everything. You taught me music. Barter 6 was our gospel. You taught me pain. Your 1-2s was better than my 2. You taught me style, you taught me shoes, and you taught me fakes. Every day after school, you walked with the best kicks. You had dunks like Pop, puff Pumas like Nipsey, clean Tims like Big L, rocked new Kobe's over J's. If you never told me, I would be blind to this fraud. They looked like LVs and walked like Virgil. How could we know they were fake? But I knew because you told me. Brothers, call this Mason Cameron. So I never snitched. When you traded your fakes and ran off with someone's treasure, I never snitched. Not me, never that. Except that one time I met a gun. You would have done the same if you met a gun. Walking over to your house, you taught me everything, except what I do when I meet a gun. Grown man walks up to us. He held up shoes, French blues. Are these fake? You proclaim your innocence. He could smell the deceit. So he turns over to me. Are these fake? Fake? Fake, not like me or you. We were tight. We were tight like that song Candy Rain. Are these fake? Boy, my heart's beating. He pulls my chest. He pulls up his shirt. And I meet my potential fate. Fake. Are these fake? You deny, professionally made. He pays no mind. He looks me in the eye and asks, are these fake? I look down in his face and my silence speaks volumes. I didn't watch as he grabbed you by your collar. I didn't watch as he pulled you to the alleyway and beat you to a pulp. I only heard you scream as you cried out for a mother I never seen. I waited a while before going in that alleyway. Looking over your body reminded me more of Ricky than anyone else. You never taught me this. Mom never taught me this. God never taught me this. I visit you every day letting you know I've changed. So I'm gonna let it go off scot-free. Because I ain't no snitch, not me, never that. Except
mind telling us how you know the defendant?
I don't recall that defendant.
Really? Because right here we got a picture of you at your christening, and I believe that is the defendant.
I don't recall having a christening.
Crazy. I actually got this picture from your mom, and isn't that her the same?
I don't recall that lady.
All right. The last time I made a bad judgment, they buried me beneath the ground. So I fear what they'll do after this trial. When they put me on the stand, I prayed instead that they put me down. I've had experiences with trials, with punishments alike. I knew the way of the law from its bark less than its bite, and I've suffered enough, from one end of the fray to understand its outcomes and its dangerous ways. The last time I made a bad judgment, everyone turned around. No one ever comes when you cry wolf, but they will watch you drown. I'm tired of questioning the same, of notes, pad, and pen, and the pretense for justice's pain. Put me down. Put it down. There's no believing a liar, they said, because it was harder seeing the truth. It took more bones, blood, and flesh than desired, a competence only the heart understood. But they were always insatiable, always hungry, always skinny and mean and fat and kind. And I had a secret sense they feared, something that howled in the woods, chased and ran, something that sat behind desks and refused to understand, something that called for attention with closed fists that slammed and bit the lip that tried to pout. Once, twice, thrice I cried out, and they shielded their eyes. They raised their hands and their questions, their compulsions and pride, all knowledge that action and lazy cock eyes, and I'm dead now. All that matters is died. I refuse to be played for a fool. No one pays heed to dumb deeds, you see. No one flutters a lash at stitched gashes, but cars only crash at contact and they refuse to touch me. I was alone. It was entirely my fault, and until this trial, it was the biggest crime I could think of. My judgments are quieter now, thoughtful if thought at all, only as tall as I can reach from down here. The last time I made a bad judgment, there were lives at stake. No one believed me. I can be different this time, make another decision or two. No one believed me, but I'll make sure that they do. Defense, would you like to provide a closing statement? Yes.
She recycles. Your Honor, she recycles. She is innocent of all, but if you had to know why, then the answer is found in dirty soda cans that she delicately sweeps off the streets into her arms, cleaning and carving them till they're up in the oak trees in her yard. She is thanked by the blue jays who find refuge in a root beer. She has never let a lily pass her by without sniffing. And when she's searching for another life in clear blue waves, she reaches out her hand and spreads her fingers, catching the current in her fist with a wicked smile on her lips. And when she comes home, smelling like the sea in solitude, she lets the mist roll off her body and into her garden, allowing the pumpkins to catch a taste of the water they'll never see. She trips over the plastic flag on the side of the road on the way to her favorite record store, where she searches for a melody she's heard a million times. Little droplets of rain start to splatter on the window outside, and she gleefully uses a Johnny Cash vinyl as her umbrella, singing Folsom Prison Blues to herself as she skips her way home. My jurors, she is not the woman she thinks she is. Afraid to put one foot in front of the other, an outcast, a criminal, a liberer, she will never be. She does not watch the leaves change idly. She hoists them high into the air so they can dance together one last time. And the same jokes you've heard her say countlessly before have never sounded so sweet as when she stumbles through them once more with a grin. She is open and honest and free, and all the things we used to be. Her card declines, trying to donate to a petition to save the turtles. And she feels like the world is grabbing her by the shoulders and shaking her. Not every time, but most times. She twirls her thumbs in the in-between, waiting for the next moment of pain.
Because life doesn't exist in the small sips of coffee, she said. It's out there with the famine and plague and Sabrina Carpenter tickets. The real with the unattainable. She thinks that's all that matters. She is unaware of who she is. The recycler. The re-giver of promise. If there was ever a time to say she is just a girl, then I implore you to seek it now. For she makes good of the broken and lost. And there has never been a dull knife she could not use to slice all her dreams in half and come away with less. I rest my case.
I'm not a mother, but I could be. I garden, carrots, bell pepper, cabbage, and squash, watered and pruned and cared for so reverently, lovingly, beneath a dark sky and 1,000 stars, because every gardener worth their salt knows that the best time to tend to the babies is at night. I am not a mother, but I could be. Bush beans and lima beans, rutabaga and russets, no one knows them like I do. People in this town stare and point and laugh, voices hushed when they think I can't hear. I'd wager you all I'm worth that none of them can concoct the proper sand to silt ratio and garner the best soil. They don't know. But I do. I know when it's time to pull up the carrots and trim back the leaves. I know that sometimes the bloom grows in rotted, and I know that it's best to kill it and start anew. And this time, the baby will grow back perfect. They can whisper all they like. I am precise and aware, grateful when I collect and careful when I cook, my knives sharpened to points, flavors balanced just so, because this is what the garden requires. Zucchini, broccoli, and crookneck pumpkins. The harvest is slow but good each time, and each time I thank each baby for its journey and its growth and all it has learned and all it now knows. From seed to pot to dust and to seed, I thank them each for their ultimate sacrifice, because what is a garden's purpose if not to nourish? I didn't do it, but if I was going to, it would have gone like this. Harvest to the baby at night, beneath a dark sky, a dark night and 1,000 stars. Children don't like gingerbread like they used to, but that's okay. She would help me carry in the rutabaga by the handful, a pumpkin under each arm, and I would have told her, "Sweet child, I am not your mother, but I could be. I know each phase of the moon and each star in the sky. I will mend your clothes and wipe your tears and sing you rhymes. And I garden, sweet child. I know when it's time to pull up the carrots, and I can teach you how to rub the dirt into the russets, and I will bake you pies and cook you dinner, and I will tuck you into bed. And in the morning, beneath the day, I will cook you breakfast. It's all homegrown. Doesn't it all just taste that much better this way?" And she will sit at the kitchen table and ask about the cauldron in the den. And I will say to her, "Sweet child, sometimes there is something in you that aches, and you know exactly what it is and exactly how to fix it." And I will say to her, "Sweet child, why don't you help me chop the onions and mince the parsley?" And I will say to her, "Sweet child, why don't you hop in the cauldron and check on the broth?" And what I don't say to her is that I know how important it is to scoop out the eyes slowly, to peel away the ears swiftly, to tenderize the bones thoroughly. It all tastes that much better this way. I know better than most gardeners. I know better than most mothers. I know how to utilize the night, utilize the soil, and understand the flesh. I know what it is to nurture, to grow something, and hold something that is all your own: carrots, bell pepper, cabbage, and beans, zucchini and broccoli, the squash and your greens. Precise and aware of what the garden requires, because I know better than most, and because mothers don't understand. It is from seed to pot to dust and to seed, because what is a baby's purpose if not to nourish? I didn't do it because they stopped me before I did. And I am not a mother, but I could have been.
Defendants, one more word out of you and I will hold you in contempt. You are out of line. Jurors, you know your responsibilities. It is time to deliberate. You have reached our verdict.